first season almost done, what have you learned the most out of this year?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I learned so much just through the experience on the court, the playing time I've gotten, and then just like through learning from the old guys. I think just how to carry yourself, how to manage yourself throughout a long season, both on and off the court. So a lot of things to take away from this season.
How much do you take away from the fact that you got to start 19 games with Tyrese in and out of the starting lineup?
Yeah, it's super good. It's really good experience because you get to play against the other team's top 5 players at all times. You get to guard them. You get to kind of go against them on offense, see where you can kind of make your mark in the league. So it's been really fun. I love starting.
What do you take away from learning from these veterans on the team, specifically Tyrese?
I wouldn't even call Tyrese a vet, for real. The vets like JJ, TJ, George, like those guys give kind of just like how to go about your day, how to schedule your workouts, how to manage yourself, how to like pace yourself throughout the year. I think they've been good with that.
What's been the best advice TJ has given you?
TJ? Best advice TJ's given me. Just to like stay confident when things are not going well, and bring that confidence with you to the court every time you touch the ball.
You're top 10 among rookies in points per game. Frankly, what has worked for you this year?
I think just playing within myself. I think letting the game come to me, playing off of others, reading the game. I think I do a good job of just reading the whole game and playmaking for myself and others.
What do you hope to get out of these final 3 games moving into the offseason?
I just want to keep getting reps. That's all you can do at this point. You know, I just want to, again, those PG reps, which are valuable, so I just want to make the most of it.
You played the equivalent almost of 2 college seasons. Physically, how's your body held up? And it looks pretty good. Like, so what would you attribute that to? I mean, it looks like you've been able to handle
it. Right, it does, baby. It does look good. It doesn't feel great right now. A little tired, a little sore, but just trying to push through the last few games.
Was there a point, though, you did feel that fatigue set in a little bit, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I think you just have to, I think it's more of a mental fatigue. You have to just push through that and don't let it kind of weigh you down.
How do you approach these final 3 games and as maybe a launching pad into your offseason?
Just want to go out there, compete to the fullest, work on everything, Coach has been teaching us in practice, and try to just carry it over into these games. And like you said, just give myself a little springboard going into this offseason.
I talked to you at halftime there at that Hawks game, and you mentioned how Lloyd pulled you aside and told you how this is something you can do on a regular basis. How have you used that game as something that you're thinking about moving forward and thinking of?
Obviously it was a boost to my confidence, but hearing it from my coaches and out here, it's really big for me. Them seeing that's something that I can do, them, instilling that kind of confidence into me, and with that, having confidence in myself is big as a player, not just for myself, but for anybody. So it's been big, and I haven't shot well the past 2 games, but hopefully I get back on the right track.
The playmaking is something you're being asked to do on a regular basis. You go into a game with a little different mindset here than you had in Milwaukee?
Yeah, obviously here I'm getting the ball in my hands a lot more than I did in Milwaukee. I'm in a lot of different positions. I'm not necessarily just standing, running from corner to corner. I'm involved a lot more in the plays, and because as a result of that, I'm able to do a lot more and show what I'm capable of. And I think playmaking is something that I can do when put in those situations.
We've talked a bit about the amount of time you're spending with the ball. What are some other things, other responsibilities that have been thrown on you over the last couple of weeks? It seems like obviously everybody's trying to put guys in positions where they're more uncomfortable and trying to learn new stuff. What are some of the things that you've been asked to do beyond what you already have?
Obviously getting the ball more, playing a lot more, pick and roll. He's showing me a lot of those scenarios. He's giving me the freedom to do a lot of that stuff, and trusting me to make plays, whether it be score or pass. Then on the defensive end, obviously just guarding every, switching 1 through 5, have taken on a lot of different assignments. It's been good for me, allowing me to grow on that end too, so it's been good.
What's impressed you the most about Bennedict and Nembhard since you got here?
They've both been great. 2 different players, but they've both been great. I think the biggest thing is the work ethic. They're always working, wanting to get better. They're always in the gym. When I'm in here, I see one or both of them working out. And on the court, their composure. I feel like Drew, you think he's been in the league a couple years, just how he plays already. He's really poised, and then Ben, obviously he's an elite scorer. He's only going to get better with time. And yeah, they're both great rookies, so happy to be playing with them.
You've talked about the opportunity here with more reps, but have you thought about the perspective of being the oldest starter for this team the last 5-6 games?
I'm not even old though. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think I'm a couple months older than these guys, but it's still crazy. In Milwaukee when I played, I was by far the youngest on the floor, unless Marjan was playing, but we didn't really play a lot together. So it's definitely a flip. I didn't even think about that till you brought it up. So it's crazy. I think it just shows how young this team is, and what pieces we have moving forward. A lot of guys can play. And we're all going to have, hopefully big off seasons, work on a lot of stuff, and be ready to go.
Let's just say it just seems like there's already been a chemistry with this group that's been built. I think even that Cleveland's coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, was talking about how well you guys share the ball. The group that's out there right now and has been last week. What's that just say for these guys? This group is that going to share the ball?
I think it's really important for a team, especially like this. Not a lot of NBA teams, share the ball like that, and it's important. It's important to make everybody feels like they're involved. It makes everybody else want to play harder. Nobody feels like they're being left out. If you're open, you're going to get the ball, and it's a great style of basketball. Everybody wants to play that kind of style and feel involved and be a part of something special. So.
There still are 3 games, but I did want to kind of get a big picture take from you on how you would evaluate this experience coming back to the Pacers and what you've enjoyed most about it.
Just being close to family, friends, this organization that, I spent many years, probably the longest in my career here. So, I've embraced it, loved every bit of it, learning, trying to help the young guys as much as possible, but trying to do all I can to be the best professional for them.
To that point, the first day you were here, we saw you pull Bennedict aside. I think I maybe asked you about that, about showing some defensive coverages and advice to him. How have you seen him develop over the last 2 months?
Tremendously. He's learning every day. We've been talking about post defense and post offense type things, like what defenders, see when he's in the post and things like that, and just body position, angles, and trying to teach him some of the tricks that I've learned from some of the great defenders that I've been around.
So maybe for he, it's defensive improvement. Maybe Andrew, have you given him some offensive advice? What about the other guard that is a rookie?
He's special. The way he sees the floor and the gifts he has with the ball is tremendous. He's one of the top passers I've seen in a while. But I think he's more mature for his game right now, and I think he's going to be a big help for us in the future, and I like what I see.
What's impressed you just about how this young lineup has operated over the last week? There's obviously a lot of young guys getting a lot of minutes. It seems like they share the ball well. You've seen a lot of chemistry there. How have you seen this grow up?
They have a lot of fight in them. That's one thing you can't teach. No matter win or loss, as long as you're going out trying to give your all, that's all you can ask for out of some of these guys. Put in tough situations to go out there and compete every night. So they're doing a great job of staying mentally locked in, mentally focused on the task, and they're just trying to do the best they can. But I think they have a lot of upside to them, and that's what's special about this group.
When you go back, he asked about Drew. What's impressed you about how he's handled the assignments that he gets? That he's already defending a lot of the top players. What do you think he does well with that? And in the time you've seen him, how have you seen him improve as a defender?
He's a lot stronger than he looks. He's a pretty strong, small guard, so moves his feet really well, good anticipation, and you could tell like he's learned a lot from being put in that position all year, from when I watched him earlier in the year to where he is now, just maturing defensively, not fouling as much, just being solid and making guys, take tough shots. And, if you got a guard who can, take someone out the game, I don't believe in you can stop someone, but you can make it tough for him on a given night. That's special to have, and I think he has that gift.
Jordan was just here saying in Milwaukee he had to go stand in the corner, wait for a catch and shoot. How have you seen the rest of his game here?
He's getting an opportunity. Like I've told him in Milwaukee, just stay ready when the opportunity presents itself, that you're ready for it. And I think he's done a tremendous job of trying to figure out who he's going to be here, and I think the coaching staff done a great job, put him in the right position to let his game showcase what he can do. And I know he's going to be here for a while, and I think they have a lot of expectations for him coming back next year.
Finally, Friday is fan appreciation night, and I know you have a good relationship with the fans here. In general, how would you show your appreciation? Maybe what do you have to say about how they've welcomed you back, and what does that night mean to you?
I mean, it's always big. The fans means everything to me here. Something I'm always passionate about, being from Indy and seeing this, stadium fill up with gold when I was here and things like that. So, win, lose, or draw, our fans always stick behind us. They're competitive just like us. We want to win, and just not our year so far. So, we want to thank them for their continued support, and we're going to get this back on track.
Ben, as your first year comes to a close, what did you take away the most when you look back at your rookie season?
I'd say pretty much just learning experience. My first year in the NBA. Obviously what I've expected, but there's been so many ups and downs that really allowed me to grow, into the player I want to become, and a lot of adversity, and I love that. Love that for me as I learn through that and grow as a person and as a player.
What do you want to see out of these last 3 games, you personally, that you can take into the offseason?
Well, pretty much just playing as hard as I can. We always trying to win the game, so pretty much just trying to be the best two-way player on the team and trying to help my team win.
You've gotten a lot more opportunities to start in the last couple weeks. What have you gained from that, getting those starting reps?
Just pretty much getting used to what I'm gonna be doing, for the rest of my career. Being a starter is, one of the main goals. So just got to start somewhere. But it also comes with a lot of responsibilities and a lot of challenges as well. So pretty much just trying to get used to it.
George just joined the team in February, but it did seem like he was really, he talked a lot, communicated a lot, gave you pointers early on. How has that relationship evolved?
Great, man. It's been great. G has been pretty good for the whole team, but me especially. He knows Indiana more than anybody here. So he's been telling me around, and once in a while he's trying to grab lunch. Just talk about the game and and stuff like that. So it's great having a vet. Other than JJ as well. Just showing that love to me, and showing that they really believe in me as well.
Are there any defensive pointers specifically that you can recall?
For sure. I mean, G Hill's a great defender, and he's always been. So sometimes, when I'm guarding a certain player, he's just telling me how to guard them, because since he's been able to play against them, and pretty much just some tips on how to defend.
You talked about the responsibility of starting. It seems like Rick's kind of made a point of just putting you in some tough defensive assignments throughout this last week and a half. How do you think you've grown through that? How much better of a defender do you think you are now than you were a week and a half ago? What are some of the things you learned you think you're getting better at just through that responsibility?
Well, I think there's still, kind of some areas I can improve all the time. I think I'm a great defender. I think, if I keep working hard and, keep doing the necessary things, one day I might be the best defender, two-way player in the league. So I'm always working towards that and, trying to learn every time I can.
What do you think you're cleaning up off the ball? As far as off the ball on defense, where do you feel like what are mistakes you think you were making that you're cutting down on?
Just knowing what kind of players is on the court, which one is more of a threat, and just go from there.
Kind of knowing who you can cheat off of and who you need to get out to, that sort of thing.
Right.
With you and Drew having such a phenomenal rookie season, what does that say about the future of this Pacers team?
It's great, man. Drew's been having an amazing season, and I've been really proud of him. Everybody think, it's been really like a steal of the draft. I wouldn't say that, because I always knew what Drew was capable of doing, and it's always great having him on the court with me and off the court as well, because he's my friend first before being my teammate. So it's been great seeing him thrive.
Can you feel that after games that Rick talks about that responsibility? Like, man, that was tougher because I was doing these things that I wasn't before. Man, I had to think more than I was before. Do you feel any of that?
Of me being on the court?
Yeah.
No, pretty much. I'm the kind of guy to get used to things, pretty quickly. And like I said, I love adversity and I love the challenge of going out there and guarding the best player, and also doing my part on offense. So, you know, I feel like every day I go back home, I always come back with something that I learned, you know, something new that I learned today.
Friday's fan appreciation night. What's the atmosphere been like at the games this season, and how have you kind of enjoyed getting to know the fans a little bit?
It's been great, man. You know, I think the fans could cheer my name a little bit more, just a little bit more. But, you know, they've been amazing this year, man. I'm looking forward to seeing them for the rest of the games, and you know, especially next year when you know, it'll be even more exciting.
Coach, what have you seen out of Drew and Ben over these last couple weeks of them starting that has impressed you?
Their ability to adjust, to take on some of these, you know, more difficult challenges of having the responsibility to start games and to carry a load defensively and offensively. You know, during one stretch, Ben Mathurin was guarding. He guarded Fred Van Vliet. He was guarding, you know, 2 or 3 other starting all-star caliber point guards, and to find out what that's like, and then to still carry a load offensively is something that, you know, for the sake of their growth, they need to experience.
It's been almost a year since both of them were drafted. How impressive has this year been with both rookies?
Yeah, those two have been tremendous. I've seen some redrafts of this draft already, you know. Both of those guys are higher than their position, so that's a credit to Kevin and Chad and Kelly and Ted and their staff, you know, and our scouting staff. But they're both amazing hard workers. They both have an internal drive, not just to succeed in the NBA, but to do things that are special. And so we're very fortunate, you know, and as we point toward the coming draft, I mean, we'll be looking for those same qualities.
You're often working with players on their shot and tinkering with it. What have you observed kind of about Jenny and TJ? And we talk about all those intangibles, but what's one thing that stood out about his season this year is his offense and his efficiency. And
TJ?
Yeah. And how he leads you guys and made field goals, actually.
Yeah, he's had a great year. I mean, he's been amazing. And, you know, the journey with his three-point shot, you know, began at the beginning of year 1 of our staff. And, you know, Jenny and I talked about his situation. And she really is the one that does most of the work with our guys with shooting. And she's amazing, you know. She just has a great feel, a great touch. She has ways to help guys feel on their own what the corrections need to be, and it's a very unique gift. And so, you know, she's helped TJ a lot, and then, you know, he certainly has put in the work, and other guys on our team as well.
How have you seen, you know, so many talk about get rid of the mid-range, and he kind of masters it, shooting 65% kind of inside the paint, and having that trusting shot that he can always go to over bigger defenders.
I think one of the things in coaching that you have to do is you have to evaluate unique strengths. You know, sometimes there are guys that defy analytics. You know, just sitting up in some room doing math all the time does not necessarily, you know, relate to the best things for a team out on the floor. He's just a very unique player with a very unique game. And, you know, one of the things, you know, one of the selling points to him on developing a three-point shot was the fact that, you know, his pop-up mid-range shot is different. It's different than what his three-point shot is going to look like. Similar to the way a driver swing is quite different than a wedge swing if you're playing golf. And so, you know, he's bought into that. He believes it. He understands it now. And, you know, he's having a great year statistically. I mean, his shooting percentages are terrific as well.
With Ben and Drew, both of them are in the top 10 points per game for rookies. What does that say about the future of this Pacers team?
Well, the future is very bright. You know, I think one of really interesting things about our 2 years. We had to get worse to get better. But in year 2, we still have the opportunity to have great momentum headed into our draft and our summer and our free agency and all that kind of stuff. And these guys are young, and they're going to continue to get better. So, and look, Isaiah's young, Chris Duarte's young, Jalen Smith is young. We've got a lot of younger guys still. Jordan Nwora, he's in his early 20s. There's a lot to build on here, but we've just got to keep doing it the right way, and we can't skip any steps.
When you've been watching film on him, how have you seen Ben improve as an off-ball defender, especially over the course of the last 2 weeks?
Well, when you take on challenges of guarding guys like Mitchell and some of these other guys that really, run around, you have to do it to experience it, to understand it and be able to be better at it. And he's been very consistent with me ever since the night after his draft workout when he wanted to come back in the gym and we worked on footwork for an hour and a half. He just keeps saying, "Hey, look, I push me. I want to be as good as I can be. I want to be great." And his messaging has not changed, and so that's been very refreshing and not unexpected. Just because right from the very beginning when I met him, there was just something you could tell there was just something burning inside of him, that was unique and different.
Is there an overarching theme or message to finish out this week to your team?
We got to continue to work to do better defensively. The last couple of games we've had pretty decent games. New York's going to present a lot of challenges because they really drive the heck out of it, and their rebounding is a big issue. But we had a good practice today, and these games will come very quickly and they'll be done very quickly.
That was sort of my question, but what do you hope to get out of and focus on in these late season practices between development and preparing for your next opponents?
Yeah, same thing that we've been talking about, opportunity for young guys to, step up into these, high-level responsibility situations. And, we want to compete at a high level, So we've done that. I mean, our compete level on most nights has been pretty damn good, considering who's not available right now. And so, that'll be the goal and the calling card for tomorrow night, against New York. New York's a team that's fighting for a, home court. I mean, they're gonna, whether Randall plays or he doesn't play. I mean, they beat Cleveland at Cleveland a few nights ago, and they, smashed Washington a couple days ago. So, we'll have our hands full.
Fan Appreciation Friday. How much has this fan base really supported you guys this season?
Well, it's an amazing fan base, as I know very, very well, from being an assistant coach with Larry Bird back when we went on a run to the finals in our 3rd year, to my second stint, which was as a head coach in the early 2000s, where we got to the conference finals in year 1. And, I know what Gainbridge Fieldhouse can feel like. Last year was a down year. We had a lot of empty seats. But we've gone a long way, and this team has gone a long way toward winning our fan base back, and that's been evident in just about every game. I expect these last couple games to be loud and for the support to be there, and we're really happy to see our fans back in there.